You ever stop and think about how one small change, just a little tweak to a process, can set off a massive chain reaction inside a giant global company? We're talking about a change that's so powerful, it can literally hand hours back to every single employee. Every single day. All right, let's get into it. So, that's the big question we're tackling here. It sounds kind of impossible, doesn't it? 2.5 hours. But believe it or not, one company actually pulled it off, and we're going to break down exactly how they did it. Okay, so our story kicks off with a massive global dairy manufacturer. You definitely know their name. But they were dealing with this hidden problem, one that was just quietly bleeding them dry in terms of time and, of course, money. And when I say global, I really mean it. This is not some small shop. They are one of the biggest dairy producers on the planet. They've got facilities all over the world, making everything from milk and yogurt to baby care products. So you can see how any little inefficiency isn't just a tiny hiccup. It's a huge systemic problem that slows the whole operation down. This right here is the heart of the matter. On the left, you've got the reality, the paper problem. Think technicians walking around with clipboards, data getting punched in hours, or even days later, leading to mistakes and so much wasted time. Then on the right, you have the dream, real-time data, everything running at peak efficiency, and their super powerful SAP software actually, doing what it's supposed to do. They had to find a way to get from one side to the other. Now, to make a leap like that, they couldn't just throw some new software at the problem and call it a day. No way. This was going to take a really carefully thought out global strategy to completely reinvent how they worked from the ground up. Their game plan really boiled down to 3 core steps. First, digitize everything. Just get rid of the paper, period. Second, optimize. Create one single super efficient way of doing things, whether a plant was in Europe or North America. And third, and this is so often the toughest part, manage the human side of the change. You have to guide your people through it. And get this, the scale of this project was just wild. This was not some little pilot program in one factory. Nope. They rolled this entire new system out at the same time across 6 different countries on 3 continents. I mean, the logistics of that alone are just mind-boggling. So you have all this planning, this massive global rollout, but did it actually work? This is the part I love, where the numbers tell the real story of the payoff. And there it is. The answer to that big question from the beginning. They saved 2.5 hours per employee every day. Just think about that for a second. By ditching the paperwork and giving technicians the data they needed right on a mobile device, they gave a huge piece of the workday back to their team to focus on the stuff that actually matters. The next jaw-dropping number is an improvement of over 1% in something called OEE, or Overall Equipment Effectiveness. Now, I know what you're thinking. 1%? That doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, in the world of big-time manufacturing, a 1% gain is absolutely gigantic. So what does that 1% actually mean for the business? It's simple. It means the machines, the ones making all that milk and yogurt, are running more and breaking down less. More uptime means more products get made. And more products? Well, that means a huge jump in revenue. That little 1% is worth millions and millions of dollars. So how'd they do it? It all comes back to the data. With real-time info streaming in, they could smartly route technicians to the next most important job. They could do inventory counts way faster. And maybe most importantly, when a machine did break, they could look at the data and find the real reason why, so they could stop it from ever happening again. But this is way more than just a cool story about one company. It's really a masterclass in how to do digital transformation the right way. So what are the big lessons we can all learn from this incredible success? When you boil it all down, their success really came from a few key things. They picked tools that were flexible enough to work even when the Wi-Fi in a giant factory inevitably dropped. They leaned on the deep knowledge of their own maintenance crews, not just some outside tech gurus. And they built a real partnership with their tech provider, knowing they couldn't do it all by themselves. And that really brings us to the big takeaway. This whole incredible transformation started with something so simple, a problem with paper. It really makes you think, right? What's the slow, clunky paper problem in your own world that's just sitting there, waiting for its own smart digital fix?